What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. The complete player, more than a dunker. A video by one of the best the best basketball channel out there for highlights, Maximilian 711. So I'm gonna put a link to another video in the description of this video, and the video that I'm putting in the description of this one is a video that I did earlier in my channel where I emphasize how elite of a clutch player Vince Carter was. I often hear these clutch debates, who's the clutchiest player of all time, and my eyes told me, watching Vince Carter play his entire career, this guy hit so many game-winning buzzer beaters, but this guy never, ever gets mentioned when we talk about clutch baskets. It blows my mind. And in the video that I put in the description of this video, the Vince Carter clutch video, it's a whole video montage, video proof of how clutch Vince Carter was. Prove I'm not making this stuff up, but he never gets mentioned. I gotta put respect on Vince Carter's name, man. Vince Carter is one of the best basketball players I've ever seen, and it's sad that this guy got left off of the top 75 list. I don't understand it. I don't. And yeah, I think Vince Carter could have had a better career than what he had. At times I felt like, you know, he didn't dedicate himself to the basketball game like, you know, a Larry Bird or Kobe or Mike, things like that. So maybe Vince Carter did leave a lot on the table, or left some on the table, but he was still an elite basketball player, and I can't take that from him. And his numbers get really skewed because of his injury-riddled seasons where he had jumper's knee, and then he resigned to a role player for, God, many of the final years of his career. He had resigned to a role player, and that hurts his averages. But I'm telling you, man, Vince was a problem. Even when he got to the New Jersey Nets, he was a problem, man. He was a beast with Jason Kidd and Jay Rich and Nate Christic and them boys. I'm just saying. So yes, Vince Carter is more than a dunker. Greatest dunker I've ever seen, but he's one of those guys where you do something so good at such a phenomenal level that everything else gets overlooked. And Vince Carter, as an all-around basketball player, was overlooked. He was a damn good passer, damn good shooter, mid-range, three-point, finish at the basket, average defender, you know, but he was more or less a complete player, and he doesn't get credit for it, and it's a shame. He should have been on the top 75 list. It's one reason I love doing this channel, is because I can fight for these players that really don't get the credit they deserve, and remind people exactly who these people were, who the hell they were. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get into this video, shall we?
Vince Carter is at a different level.
Vince Carter is rounding into a complete player.
He does more than just dunk the ball. There's nobody here who can guard him.
I try hard every day when I step on the floor to be an all-around player. I just want to be able to do it all for my team. And not just get to the hole, dunk the basketball or whatever. Not just shoot, not just pass. We do it all.
What a shot from Vince Carter!
I didn't want you to expect to see me in the dunk contest every year. I wanted you to expect to see me in the All-Star game every year. All of the guys who I looked up to who were all-around players, I wanted to show that. I don't want you to label me as Vince Carter, the dunker.
He busted onto the stage because of his athleticism. And then you started to see him and not necessarily want to just be considered an athlete. You wanted to be considered a basketball player.
Who did you not want to face the most?
I'm gonna say Vince Carter.
You say Vince Carter brought out the best in you.
I think because he played so long, people forget how fucking amazing Vince was.
Oh my God.
People have kind of looked at Vince and said, oh no, he was great. And it's like, no, you don't understand. What this man could do.
Oh my goodness!
Vince could do anything on the basketball court, and it made it, you know, pretty much almost impossible to guard him.
Vince Carter's such a talented offensive player.
That's what we talked about, the maturity of this kid's game. He's not just a dunker, he's a player.
Dunkers come and go. The great players excel in all aspects of the game.
Vince Carter, he can do everything on the basketball floor that anyone in the league can do.
Vince Carter's ability to play a complete game.
One of the most athletic players that ever played the game of basketball. You know, and then he worked at it. You know, athleticism doesn't mean anything if you don't work at it, and this just made him into a great player.
Here's a guy who, after his Rookie of the Year award, went into the gym and shot an estimated 1,500 jumpers a day.
He wasn't that good an outside shooter last season, but he came back this year, and boy, he has improved.
Casual fans don't realize Vince Carter, this guy can shoot it.
Carter, nothing you can do.
Vince can shoot
nothing
the ball.
You can do. And his jumper is flawless.
His handle was so crazy, and then his jumper was so pretty.
Carter with that silky smooth jump shot.
Carter, the post up, the fade, that is impossible to stop.
That lets you know he's truly expanding his game. That mid-range jump shot, Vince Carter really adding to his game.
This guy, he's fundamentally sound. He uses his ball fakes. He gets a lot done with his jab steps and his footwork.
Well, you get an idea how difficult it is to defend against Vince Carter.
I mean, the confidence is extraordinary for Vince Carter. There's not a situation he doesn't feel that he's going to hit a shot.
You see, by developing his jump shot, now you can't get up on him. He's a true triple threat player now.
That is virtually unstoppable right there.
His jumper keeps getting better and better. It's made him a more complete player.
I don't know if you can defend it. This is a Michael Jordan move again, but it's all Vince Carter on the finish.
Because he can score from anywhere out on the floor.
Once ignite, Vince Carter is going to do something that only Vince Carter can do.
Carter flips it up and drops it in, showing us another part of his game.
Vince Carter has all the moves. Vince with a little hip-hop, oh, and some magic. Oh, that's ridiculous.
And so he's very difficult to defend because you don't know where the shot's going to come from.
Vince Carter's on another level. There's no one in this league that can guard Vince Carter one-on-one because he has such a repertoire of ways to score.
And he just is so creative around the rim.
This is just unfair. What do you do to guard this?
Ooh, behind the back. Spin with the left.
Now you see what the problem is. You close on him. He's so athletic and acrobatic. He spins and makes
I remember that. He did a couple of those. Very exciting. Baseline,
attacking the basket and then hanging in the air.
Arm extend
play by Vince Carter. Oh, brilliant moving to the goal. Oh, what a move by Vince Carter. Carter lets it go. Got it. Oh, three.
As well as he drives and finishes, his improvement of the outside shot has made him almost unguardable.
And he learned to shoot the three-point shot.
When he first came in the league, he was not a good three-point shooter, just 29% as a rookie, but he's really worked on that game.
He has become a great three-point shooter also from the outside. There's not a weakness in his game right now.
Vince Carter for three and knocks it home again. As Carter rips another three.
Vince Carter needs to drive a lot more. He's not going to the basket enough. This guy's showing us, shut your mouth, let me play. I can shoot threes, I can do anything else.
Carter with the rebound, turnaround. Another one. That's amazing. Amazing. Vince Carter on a turnaround is in his 8th three-pointer in a row. What range for Vince Carter?
One of the best ranges of any player I've ever seen. Effortless from 30.
Vince Carter's ridiculous with his range. How do you guard the guy? It's just almost impossible.
Off the dribble, Vince Carter is unstoppable.
Does not matter who is in front of him, who is trying to contain him. He can get anywhere on the floor that he wants to.
He is scorching hot from downtown.
I think that's the area of Vince Carter's game that's probably overlooked. Ooh, this guy is a capable and willing passer. When you get out to pressure him or double him, he's willing to find guys.
Everybody talks about the dunks or the scoring, but he can find the open guy. He makes the game so easy, so unselfish.
What a beautiful pass from Vince Carter.
I have really started to respect Vince Carter's ability to get his teammates involved.
And not much credit is given to Vince Carter and his ability to pass the basketball.
Vince has done a great job creating shots for everybody.
You know, he's going to attract a lot of attention, and we always say that's probably the most underrated part of his game is his passing
I love
ability.
watching him and Jason Kidd
play point guard. He's a very underrated passer. He could handle the ball extremely well.
And one of the things you like about Vince Carter, he gets his other teammates involved.
Also the unselfishness. Vince Carter, very impressive passing the ball. He's what a pass. Beautiful pass.
And that Christian right there.
The offense through
I
Vince
like
Carter, having
game.
him really play the point. Vince Carter with a beautiful assist.
There was no player that I enjoyed watching more than Vince Carter in his prime, because you never knew who was going to get it.
Vince Carter understands if you want to be considered among the best in this league, you have to do it against the best in this league. And he's not afraid to perform and step up big.
It does not matter who's defending him. He's that good offensively. Keep in mind, this is the best defense in the NBA in Detroit. Carter once again just chewing up the Pacer defense.
24 first quarter points.
34 points in the first half for Vince Carter.
Carter unstoppable. He's got 30 points. 42 points. 24 in the fourth quarter.
He's affecting the game in so many different ways. Vince Carter with 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists.
27 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists.
35 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists.
He has 36
Fake behind
points,
the back,
9
the other way.
assists.
38 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
34 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists.
42 points for Vince, 12 assists.
Back-to-back 42-point games.
43 points and 14 rebounds.
Vince, 46 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists.
47 points. Vince Carter with 51.
Bring it up in the clutch.
Pressure
Let him
situations,
know.
he just gets better and better.
Carter soaring to the basket.
Let him know, man.
You can say this for Vince Carter. He loves this environment. Vince Carter, you
He used to kill the Raptors every time when he was on the Nets.
And he wants the ball in
their hearts
crunch time.
out.
Give me the ball, I want to win. Vince Carter, the will to win is absolutely incredible.
This young man has no fear.
Carter is open. A 3 on the way. Got it. Here's Carter. Yes.
Now, this is when you know a player is at an elite level, when everybody in an arena knows he's getting the ball, and he can still score.
No question about it that Vince Carter is taking on that role. Crossover. Vincent Lamar Carter. Air Canada. Vince Carter taking over. Vinsanity.
And when he gets in this kind of zone, look out.
Vince Carter, he wants it. Spin away. Tough shot by Vince. Rattles it down.
In an absolutely unbelievable shot.
Vince Carter doing what he's known to do. Take big-time clutch shots.
And now this is his time, the fourth quarter.
He puts it in play to Carter for the game winner. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Vince Carter has done it again.
Here we go. Carter with 2 seconds. Carter for the win. Got it.
There's Carter for downtown for the win. Yes.
3 seconds. Carter looking for the win. He buries it. Vince Carter.
What kind of look is it going to be? Here comes in Carter for the win. Yes. Yes.
Go check out my Vince Carter clutch video, man. Go check it out. Description of this video.
Yeah, as great as he wasn't always on great teams. You know, you can carry a team so far, but you need help.
We were out there laying eggs and no one's making shots. He had 40 points and it's like Vince needs help. Vince needs another score. What he had inside, he's always team first. It wasn't never just about him.
Without Vince Carter, they can't score, they can't win games.
But what Vince needs is some healthy scorers on his team with him. There's no support for Vince Carter.
I don't know a guy that's won by themselves. Michael Jordan needed Scottie, Kobe and Shaq, Dwayne and LeBron. You gotta have somebody.
What if Tracy McGrady had stayed with the Raptors?
Dwayne, LeBron, and Bosh.
He stayed. You know, he was talking to me. I wish I stayed. I was like, damn, I wish you did too.
If Tracy and Vince had stayed together, Kobe said they could have won
I wish I had stayed, man.
Really?
I swear. I swear I wish I had stayed.
We would have played for a championship if I would have stayed. There's no doubt about that. There was so much stuff going on in Toronto, the organization. There was no way I could have stayed.
I believe the media's done a bad job. Did Vince fail Toronto or did Toronto fail Vince? Normally, you take a star player, he and the GM have to figure it out. And I don't think the refs ever got that part done.
I mean, Toronto was fledgling. They didn't know what they were doing. Vince Carter seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some of it no fault of his own. And yet, it was elusive, you know, and some of that time, I know he got some of the blame for that. I think too much. When I was covering the NBA, I think I was blaming him too often as well when we look back.
He kept playing for the love of the game. He never went to go play on a contender because he didn't want to just ride the bench and get a ring. He wanted to play.
Vince Carter, the all-star, the superstar.
He's so gifted. I think one of the most talented players this game has ever seen.
He's a legend. I mean, it's hard to tell the story of basketball without mentioning Vince Carter, and that's a true testament to the type of player and person, you know, he is.
And like I said, I got a chance to play with Kobe, and I got a chance to play with AI and Shaq. Vince is probably the most gifted basketball player I've ever played.
I have never seen anything like Vince Carter, and I was fortunate enough to play with LeBron. I think, to me, he is the most talented player that I've ever seen in my life.
He's an 8-time All-Star who then had a second act in his career as a valuable, team-oriented role player, but a starting caliber player. For like a decade, he adapted to the modern NBA and was valuable for an extra decade. I think his career, to me, says less about not fulfilling some potential and more about evolving.
From his athleticism to his high flying, to his three-point shooting, his mid-range game, his handle, his passing skills, his rebounding. And it's what maybe kept him in the league for 20 plus years, the ability to adapt and to change and to morph his game from star to role player.
You would have always thought Vince Carter, you would think dunk, but now you think his longevity, the more complete game, the mentor, and not really sticking around to chase for a championship, but because he loves the game and he loves to give back to the younger generation.
Vince Carter was recognized by basketball fans around the world, probably the most dynamic, exciting player of his time.
What a career that this guy has put together.
Thank you for inspiring me, Vince. Thank you for inspiring a whole generation of players, not only in Canada, but around the world, man. You are one of our GOATs.
Played more seasons in the NBA than anyone in league history.
I love the game. I love playing. I love all the competition and the camaraderie that comes with it. And some guys just do it for a check. Some guys do it because they love it, and I love it.
That was so well done, and it did a really good job in a short amount of time of capturing Vince Carter's career and putting some respect on it without getting, you know, into the details, but just a wonderful snapshot of his entire career, and it really did Vince Carter justice there. I can't lie. And yes, like I said, many of those last years, he resigned to a role player when he didn't have to. Like he was still still had some more stuff left in the tank, but that was his choice. But I do love that he just wasn't trying to hop on contenders and ride for championships. Like I can appreciate that. He wanted to be a mentor to young players, you know, on young teams and things like that, and not try to, you know, join a super team, but still give what he could give on the court or just, you know, as from a leadership perspective. But like I said, man, Vince was an all-around player, man. Vince was a monster, and it is a tragedy that this man got left off the top 75. I will never, ever forgive the people who are responsible for putting that list together, because there was already a top 50. So the additional 25 people, I will never forgive them for leaving Vince Carter off. And you put on Damian Lillard over Vince Carter, Anthony Davis over Vince Carter. Come on, man. It's an absolute travesty, man. But Vince, I'm letting you know, you on my top 75 list, and you are actually on my, when I think about the top players of that first decade of the 2000s, you are on my list as a top player, Vince Carter, and I salute you. I saw everything you did. I saw the down times, I saw the knee injuries, I saw the high moments. I saw it all. And I know who the hell you were, Vince. If you ever watched this video, I got you, dog. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Were you a Vince Carter fan? Or you're not a Vince Carter fan? What do you think about Vince Carter's career? What's your opinion? I'm here to pay homage to the man. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I catch you on the next one. We out, baby.